Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, a very good evening to all of you and welcome to Not Just Cricket, powered by Sky247.net. My name is Ridhima Pathak and this is the Eliminator of the Indian T20 League 2022. One team goes ahead, plays Rajasthan, the other team just goes back home. That could be either Bangalore or it could be Lucknow. Now, Bangalore fans, guys, please take a chill pill, have some water, don't get too excited. All right, take it easy. I know you've been here many, many times, and you can see it on our faces of our guests. We've got Deepdas Gupta and Naila Bragg. If there's one advice you want to give to RCB fans today, Deep, I'll start with you. What would you say?
Enjoy, chill, relax. I mean, like you said, they've been here before. They've seen the worst of these eliminators before. They've managed to play the finals thrice, at least thrice, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, just go out there, have fun, chill. That's a good pitch to bat on. Generally speaking, last night 188 was chased down rather easily. So yeah, just have fun, enjoy.
Oh my God, now look at that stat. So now, right now, every Bangalore fan is like, listen, we've had this advice for too long. Since 2009, we've been doing it.
Well, listen, surely tonight things are going to change. But your advice, what do the Bangalore's fans do tonight? Well, you just got to hope and pray. You got to keep everything crossed, fingers, toes, absolutely everything crossed. That this is the year Bangalore are
Stand like that. Two people like this.
Do whatever you can do. Whatever you can do. And if you're in a good position, Bangalore, and as a fan, do not move. If your favorite player is batting well, all the players are very, when a team are playing well, the batters play well. They never move on the balcony. If you're a Bangalore fan tonight and you're sitting on your sofa, on your couch, on your balcony, and Virat's playing well, Faf's playing, do not move. Stay still. Don't go to the toilet. Do not move.
Oh my God!
Just from the RCB fans' point of view, I mean, listen, the only way is up from here, right? So they've been here before. So yeah,
yeah, I know. Only way is up. That doesn't sound really good, but can they? Can they get the monkey off the back?
Definitely yes. Absolutely no two ways about it. I think toss might be a little vital here. Because of dew and everything else, and not just dew, because of the pitch as well. It seems because of all the rain and the pitch was under covers for quite a while, so there will be moisture there. There will be some, sweating, as we call it, on the pitch. So batting first will always be a little tricky on this pitch. So yeah, I think toss might just be that much more crucial in this game.
Okay, now KL Rahul on the other hand has some great stats when he bats first. So that's also an interesting stat right there. But talking about Lucknow, just like Gujarat now, has had a superb debut season. The fact that they made it so far, they won the previous game also brilliantly with the opener standing tall for them. Can they handle the knockout pressure though?
Well, we're talking about one team, Bangalore, loads of monkey off the back, loads of baggage, looking at absolutely no baggage. So they are just going into the game. They're loving life, no pressure whatsoever. Before ball was bowled this tournament, this team under Andy Flower, I said these guys are a good side. And like Gujarat have been a good side with Hardik and someone like Rashid Khan, you do not underestimate the power of a really good local captain. And when you've got an excellent coach in Andy Flower, he is a born winner. And he has got a trump team. He has did brilliant work in the auction. Let's not forget, it wasn't long ago that they lost Mark Wood, and everyone was thinking that doom and gloom about Lucknow. So I think for Lucknow, they'll be sprinting on the pitch. They cannot wait for this game. Whereas Bangalore, they're going to be edging onto the surface and hoping to get through. But I agree with Deep. I think Bangalore have easily a good enough side, not just to get through tonight, but they'll go all the way. And this could just be their year. I think they've done well, Bangalore. They've played good cricket. They've totally got pretty much a new team, from the outset, some good acquisitions. And, surely, King, Sir Virat, surely this is his year.
Yes, the fact that it's happening in Eden Gardens, his first international century, his last international century, and the last IPL century also came here. Eden Gardens. Also, Kolkata is home to you, Deep. Are you in Kolkata? No, you're in Pune.
I'm Pune, but listen, Kolkata has been really, I mean, very good for Virat, as you mentioned. His last 100 was 2019 international 100, Bangladesh day and night game. So yeah, I mean, and he's looking good. Obviously, last game he looked a lot better. He's amongst runs. He always seemed to be in decent form. It was that he wasn't scoring too many runs, but I think last game was crucial from that perspective, that he got some very valuable runs, and that gives you a different kind of a confidence even if you're batting well. But runs under the belt means runs under the belt. But yeah, I mean, for Lucknow, listen up. I think that's the best side. For me, that's the best side in the tournament. As simple as that. Look at their bowling side, and I have a feeling, and this is what I've believed in for a while, that the best bowling unit should, or rather wins the tournament. And for me, Lucknow has the best bowling unit. Even if you look at the names on the paper or performances, they've got the highest. They're the highest wicket takers this season. They've got the best strike rate. They've got the best average as well. So I think that's a big advantage, especially when toss becomes that much more important, right? If you have to defend a total, uh, it seems that Lucknow has it. And also, if you look at their defending record, they've actually won more games defending than chasing in this tournament. So even though toss is important, but if anyone who's well placed before the toss in terms of batting first or batting second, I think it would be Lucknow.
It is Lucknow, yeah. But having said that, their win that they had over Kolkata, what did you make of KL's approach, batting approach there? It was criticized, but I mean, did you think that he played the perfect foil for Quinton?
Me?
Deep? Yeah,
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 yes and no, to be honest. Because I guess Kale's role is a bit like Shikhar's role in that Punjab side, where there are a lot of these, good strikers of the ball, and Kale's role would be to play till the 16th, 17th over. So yes, that is having said that, also after he bats through the first 10, 11, then at times you think he has that skill set as well to go a little quicker than what he's done so far. While yes, first 6, 7 overs, yes, it's a little old school, that approach. One of the top three bats till the 17th, 18th, and then the others bat around him. That could be anyone. But a lot of these teams, including international teams like England, Australia, West Indies, the successful teams, they have a different approach, a lot more attacking approach when they go from first to the last. Those
yeah.
numbers, obviously, I mean, that Kale
I mean,
number there, play
yes,
middle
yes.
overs, but that middle over numbers maybe just could be better, and power play as well.
I
Maybe
would say
just
depth. I
yeah,
mean, look at the depth. He's faced only 8 balls in depth, while as Quinton de Kock 22.
yeah, yeah. I mean that would include that 100 and 40 not out that he got the other day. I think 22 balls. I mean, major part of those 22 deliveries was in that innings, I believe.
Yes, yes, yes. So it was that inning. So these stats is versus Kolkata only. So actually, yeah. Now, yeah. I mean, talking about the approach that he had, what did you make of it?
No, I think we've been singing the praises of KL Rahul all tournament, and I go back to previous shows and we saw the consistency of the player over a 4 or 5 year period to score X amount of runs at a strike rate of plus 130 every single season. So I think he assesses the conditions, he assesses the situation. And it was probably a case, and Deep and I have both been batters, and sometimes when your partner is going great guns, and maybe you're not going as well, so sometimes you play second fiddle. No, I've got no real issue with how he went. It was it was an incredible. I think Quinton de Kock. The reason Quinton de Kock played so well, everyone started looking at the other innings. But actually, sometimes just take your hat off to Quinton de Kock. KL Rahul, he is an astute batter in all formats of the game, and it may well be the case today that he goes out and gets off to a quicker start and plays a bit more fluidly. But it's a lovely partnership. That left hand, right hand, both very, very elegant batters. Both play well offside, leg side, front foot, back foot, and very difficult to bowl to.
Yeah.
Just to add to that, Ridhima, also if you look at that Lucknow middle order, they really haven't fired apart from Deepak Huda in the last few games when he's batting at 3. So as a captain, obviously you're not just thinking about your innings, you're also thinking about, listen, the middle order hasn't fired. if you lose couple of wickets, there needs to be someone who bats till the end. So if obviously if you have that confidence in your middle order and your middle order has been scoring, then maybe you'd see KL Rahul batting a little more freely than that. It's just that
True that.
season the middle order hasn't really fired as much as Lucknow would have wanted. So maybe that also adds up to this whole cycle of him, not scoring as quickly as some of us might think he should.
That's right. That middle order is fragile, and a lot of teams have definitely noted that. Having said that, Lucknow has not defeated any of the teams that have made it to the playoffs. And of course, they lost to Bangalore in the previous meeting. Here's some numbers. Let's revisit what happened there. And with Faf and Hazelwood firing, this is what it looked like. Of course, Lucknow would want to change that. What could be their approach today against Bangalore, Deep?
Bangalore for me, listen, the best way for Bangalore is to go out there and express themselves, right? Because again, that's a team where if you look at the batting unit there, that looks really, really good. Starting from Faf, Virat, Patidar, look at his numbers last 5, 6 games. He's contributed. Then you have Glenn Maxwell. DK's had a fabulous year. Then you add Shabazz there, who's again had a really productive season. So that batting unit looks really good, but at times it just looks a little circumspect, little too overcautious. So I think a lot of these Indian franchises, a lot of these Indian teams are looking to change. So like for example, Punjab did change it. Punjab again follows a different kind of a template, like the English national side, just trying to go harder. So I think that's for someone like Bangalore with batting as deep as they have. Someone like Harshal Patel coming at 8, 9, he's quite handy with the bat as well, right? So yeah, they can be a little more, maybe aggressive and knockout games. The best team that I've seen over the last 2 decades and all is Australia, and the best thing that they
Yeah.
do is they put the opposition under the cosh straight away. First 2, 3 overs in a knockout game, big game, attack them, put them under pressure, and they just ride the momentum. And that's what Australia does in every big game, and it's been effective. They've actually done so well doing that. Why not here for Bangalore as well?
True that. Now, having said that, now Bangalore, well, the highlight of Bangalore for sure is their batting and their bat deep, and with Virat Kohli getting the fluidity that he bats with. But is bowling a concern?
Well, listen, they've got a in Hasaranga they've got a beautiful leggy. That is a trump card right up their sleeve. Hazelwood's been pretty good. He's got whacked a few times, obviously, but generally he's a top class Aussie quick. But I think their bowling on this pitch, as Deep mentioned about the toss, it's crucial really because Lucknow have got such a good all-round side, I think. So their bowlers are going to be under the cosh straight away. There's no weak teams. We saw the weak teams. They're gone. You mentioned if you lose tonight, you go home to your homeland. Well, the weak sides are already gone. So these sides are pretty evenly matched. It's about knockout games, about how you handle yourself. And that's why I mentioned Lucknow have got nothing to lose. Their first time in the tournament, they will sprint onto the pitch full of confidence. Whereas Bangalore, they will be, hoping. I think that they get the victories. That's a massive bit of mind play, your mindset as you go into the game. So it's not necessarily, I don't think there's a great deal skill set between the two sides. I think it's who's going to take the ball by the horns, who's going to make throw the first punch. When you've got someone like Faf du Plessis, the captain, opening the batting, that's a massive statement for Andy Flower and looking at say, right, their captain's opening the batting. And what Deep said about the Aussies, they always try to get the opposition captain early. They try to keep the captain down. So there's a great chance for looking at it. Right, take Faf du Plessis, nick him off early, gone for 2 or 3, and then let's see what Bangalore have got up their sleeve. So I reckon it's going to be an interesting. That first 2 or 3 overs, especially when Lucknow got ball in hand, going to be crucial.
All right.
Bangalore bowling rhythm. If I just can add to what Niall mentioned, I think bowling wise they've got a good bowling side. He mentioned a few names: Josh Hazelwood, Harshal, and Hasaranga. But I think they
Yeah.
still kind of lack with their death overs in their death overs. I mean, Josh Hazelwood is brilliant with the new ball, right? Mohammad Siraj hasn't really had a good season, so it comes down to Harshal Patel. And if there is dew and the pitch is not gripping and skidding through, so that
Also an
becomes a little
injury.
bit of an issue. So Bangalore death overs in terms of bowling that can be a little bit of an issue. And that has been, as far as I can recollect,
Yes,
this tournament, the last 5 overs, it hasn't been that great for Bangalore.
yes, yes. Bangalore's bowling has been under speculation. But having said that, I feel that this particular eliminator has two thrillers. One is the thriller as to who gets eliminated, but the mini thriller is who's going to win the toss. That is the bigger thriller to start with, to warm up things. With that, now that we've warmed up to the show, let's see how the numbers dictate the game. Here is Numbers Tracker powered by Sky247.net. Okay, all right. Let's take a look at the numbers that we have from both these teams, which is Lucknow and Bangalore. First up, let's see what numbers are being thrown at us and what's coming up. All right, this is Bangalore's most experienced. We've got Virat and Faf in the playoffs and the finals. Out of 12 matches that both of them have played, 276 of Virat, Faf is 348, average 27.60, 31. So Faf seems to have done better in the playoffs and the finals as compared to Virat, but they have fair amount of experience there. So here's a question, which of course, Niall touched upon right in the beginning of the show. But deep in playoffs, does experience matter, or is it better to come inside playoffs without any baggage like that? Because these are these two teams right there.
I think it's important. Experience definitely is important, and let's not forget it's not just about the playoff, pressure, but we've got a packed stadium as well, right? So a lot of, I mean,
Oh,
last 2 years we didn't have that, right? So
yeah,
this year around, after 2 years, you've got packed stadium, you've got 60, 70,000 people, right? So that in itself brings a different dimension to the mental side of the game. So obviously having the experience of playing a big game, uh, obviously in a stadium like Eden Gardens with 60,000 people shouting and that energy and everything else. So yeah, I mean that experience tells you, you know what? I mean, if you have that experience, you're a lot more comfortable in that situation. If you don't have
yeah.
it, and I'm not saying it's for everyone, if you don't have that experience, you might buckle under all that. You might just suddenly you look around, the like 60,000 people shouting, and it's like, where am I? And it can be a
Mm.
very lonely place out there in the middle. And I will tell you, with so many people shouting and all, one mistake or one fumble, it can be a very, very lonely place. So yeah, that experience of having gone through all that, and I'm sure all these people have made mistake, right? Virat and Faf, case in point here. So they've been through that, so they know how to handle it. So yes, experience does matter for me.
Right.
I don't know I don't know what game Deep has been watching when Ireland have played in front of 70,000 people, but I must have missed that one.
I was talking about your Nottingham games, man.
Uh,
But does a person like Virat need a theater like that?
I tell you what, just those numbers are interesting. You look at
Yeah,
those numbers will hurt Virat Kohli because everyone, he is one of the best that's ever been. No doubt about it. In all formats of the game, but in this particular tournament, in the knockouts and finals, 250s and 12 innings, so he's passing 50 every 6 games. A strike rate of 123, which is below par, for a player of his ability, and an average of 27. So that's something that he will want to definitely put right. Faf du Plessis, on the other hand, you think of the big games, you think of the final. He is someone that sticks his hand up. So that is interesting. I just got this as this tournament has unfolded and everyone is writing Virat off and first ball duck, another first ball duck. Where's Virat's form? Blah blah blah. I've just got a feeling that he's just going to come up when the time is right, i.e., knockout game, and just win this tournament for this team that has been, his life and soul for the last, over 10 years. So I just think there's something in it. Call me an old romantic.
yeah. Or what can I say? Just like a gladiator needs a packed colosseum. You've got Virat who needs that theater. Okay, then with that, now that we've told you that we've got experience on the one side of Bangalore, on the other side of Lucknow would be a new team, but some of the players have got a lot of experience right there, and definitely Lucknow's been a team of all-rounders. So here we've got some all-rounders. We've got Krunal Pandya and Stoinis. 7 and 4 matches, 128, 121, average 25.60, 30.25, strike rate 131, 125. Clearly not as experienced as that of the Bangalore side. But these two names have had the most experience from that team. They are rolled tonight at Eden Gardens now.
Yeah, well, very crucial players. Stoin, he's used to playing the big games for Australia. Probably hasn't set the world alight in this tournament down the years. But he is a match winner on his day. We've seen that for the Melbourne Stars. When he had 2 or 3 standout seasons at the top of the order. And Krunal Pandey, I just think he's a top class cricketer, all round cricketer, bat ball field. But yes, there is a lack of experience in these kind of knockout games for the Lucknow. But I don't buy too much into that. They played so much high quality cricket. They're talking about Marcus Stoinis, who's a World Cup winner. Krunal Pandey, who's played for India. There's a plethora of high end, high caliber cricketers who have played in front of huge crowds. But maybe not the knockout games of this tournament. But I wouldn't read too much into that. From a personal point of view, if I'm walking onto the field, it wouldn't bother me one bit. Actually, 70,000 people, bring it on. That's the way my mentality. And actually, that's the way the majority of professionals would feel. They want to entertain the crowd, and that's why they got to where they got to. So it might be a bit of psychological, and maybe Bangalore might try and play on that a little bit in the mind games, but I just don't see it playing a massive part.
Okay, all right. Well, talking about weapons, Lucknow has one big one in its arsenal, and it is Mohsin Ali. Now, the best economy in power play, Lucknow's key weapon. Let's take a look at this. At best economy in power play, Mohsin Khan is right there with 5 wickets in power play, economy 5.2. That is something that Bangalore needs to be wary of.
Absolutely, yes. And especially because he's a left arm seamer and he has that ability to kind of swing it both ways. Plus, he bowls at roughly around that 150 kilometers an hour. He's an extremely talented bowler who's in good form, and I won't be surprised if you see him wearing the India colors in the next 3-4 months. I won't be surprised at all. He's that good, according to me. He hasn't played a lot of cricket in terms of domestic cricket and all, but when I look at him, he's got the skill set. And if you look at someone like Virat and Faf, their records again left arm seamers aren't that great, right? And especially against bowlers who have that ability to swing, right? And it's not just about Faf and Virat. Anyone for that matter, any right-hander against a left arm seamer who can swing it back into the right-hander, there's always going to be a bit of a struggle there. So yeah, that's going to be a very, very important battle, Mohsin versus the Bangalore openers.
Okay, there's one more, which is Jason Holder. And this is the Bangalore openers, both Virat and Faf, who have looked to attack Holder in the past, but have also lost wickets. Here are some numbers I'd like to show you. So that's Holder versus Bangalore openers, Virat and Faf. Well, he has dismissed Virat twice and Faf thrice. But they've had a strike rate of 183 and 154 respectively against the man. How do you see this battle coming along? Who do you see this one's going to win? Niall?
Well, they're pretty good numbers, as a batting unit. Excellent strike rates, 180 and 150. So even though Holder's got the batters out a couple of times, I would say the batters are on top. Their job is to really take down the power play. So, I think both Virat and Faf will back themselves against Holder. I always find Jason Holder, my personal experience, playing against him, he doesn't give you many drives, but actually if you get a good base and good balance and stay still, you can hit, if the pitch is good and you trust the surface, you can hit on the up over point region and pick up pull. As soon as Holder realizes that maybe you're not lunging on the front foot, he tries to push it a little bit fuller and he can get a little bit floaty, and that's where you'll see someone like Virat and Faf maybe lift over the offside. I don't think they'll go out all guns blazing, but I definitely think both openers have the capabilities, the skill sets to take down Jason Holder. So I'm not sure. Sometimes numbers can be a little bit misleading. Jason's got him out a few times, but actually Jason's been pumped there. 183 strike rate and 150 by Faf. So even if you accumulate both of those strike rates, if Faf and Virat lose 1 wicket tonight, they're 64 off the power play. That's a great start for Bangalore.
All right, Deep, you don't seem very convinced though. Do you think?
No, I am. Listen, when I was looking at those numbers, it could be because the other bowlers were bowling so well as a batter. You're thinking, you know what, Jason Holder, let's attack him. So you've got 14, 15 of his over, but you've also lost your wicket. But that could also be because of the other bowlers were bowling so well. So you have
Yeah.
to pick your bowler. So yeah, because Jason Holder as a bowler, I mean, he's not intimidating, right? As a seam bowler, I mean, he just comes and bowls. He's got decent pace. He swings the ball, but you don't look at him and say, he can get me out. You know what I'm saying? So he's that kind of a bowler, but he obviously he's got good numbers. I mean, if you look at his numbers, he's one of the top all rounders in world cricket, both with bat and ball. But it's just that the look of him angling into bowl, it doesn't give you that. I mean, there's no fear factor when he's coming into bowl, like Mohsin
I have to
Khan or
tell you,
yeah.
if he does manage to get the wicket, this is a meme right there. We're going to cut this piece out and play it over and over again.
I hope not. But listen, like I said, I'm a big. I mean, Jason Holder is one of the top all rounders. But again, if it's him and Mohsin Khan bowling, I'd rather play Mohsin Khan safely and take. If I have to take risk, I'll take risk on against Jason Holder more than, let's say, a Mohsin Khan or maybe even a Navish Khan.
Superb. Here's an update. Weather seems clear. So rain is not going to play the punt in your fantasy team for sure. So it's all clear. Cloudy but no rain. Having said that, let's talk about the Lucknow openers against Maxwell. Now, Maxwell Deep has enjoyed bowling against the Lucknow openers. Today, do you think he's the threat, the opener space?
I won't be surprised, especially with Quinton de Kock there. And if you look at Bangalore in the last few games, the first over has been bowled by a spinner. If not Maxwell, then obviously Shabazz has bowled a couple of games. But yeah, those are very good numbers.
Yeah.
Strike rate, it's run a ball and got them out twice, Gale twice, and de Kock once. So yeah, I mean, why not? And I would not be surprised if he bowls the first over with Quinton de Kock opening the innings. And that's what Bangalore's been doing. Shabazz or rather Maxwell. One of them have bowled the first over in the last few games.
All right. Now you, Maxwell versus the Lucknow openers. Who do you see this battle winning?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Especially, yeah, Quinton de Kock obviously a little bit can be a little bit full early against spin. So Maxwell should definitely slide in early on, try and get it over out of the way.
Okay, then. All right. With that was numbers tracker powered by Sky247.net. Those are the numbers that we had for you for this match. अब देखिए मुद्दे पे आते हैं आप लोग को जानना है टिप्स करेक्ट ऑलराइट सो what we're trying to say here Nile is that the fact that you made your team and the fact that you have some tips ready for all our fantasy gamers, it's just the right moment for you to tell us what team is it. This is Fantasy Tracker powered by Sky247.net coming your way. Nile, so your captain is KL Rahul, vice captain Glenn Maxwell. Okay, take me through.
Yeah, well, Quinton, one of my favourite players up front, and Faf and Virat, they're my kind of engine. I think Deepak Huda has been impressive this tournament. He started well, had a bit of a quiet time, but I think he's a good batter in that middle order and can get the team over the line or put the icing on the cake. And Karthik, well, DK, he's back from the dead almost. He was done and dusted. Now he's back in the India Blues. So DK is playing well, and Jason and Hasaranga are two top-class overseas players, and we've got a couple of quicks. So, it's a beautiful team. It's a lovely balanced team, and it would win most games of cricket. But yeah, I'm happy with my team. Maxi as vice captain just gives them that little bit more responsibility, but KL as skipper.
Interesting. All right. So here's the thing that the average first inning score at Eden Gardens since 2018 has been 183. So would you change your vice captain choice or your captain choice in that team?
Nah, I wouldn't. I think Maxwell, and especially if Maxwell's bowling first, if Bangalore's bowling first, absolutely yes, because he will, the kind of pitch that we saw yesterday, I don't see too much of a change in the nature of that pitch tonight either. Maxwell definitely yes. And yeah, listen, I will always back a wicket keeper as a captain or a vice captain for sure, because even if he doesn't score runs, he'll get you points behind the stump. So Not to mention, obviously, both Niall and I our backgrounds, but yeah, keepers are the most valuable player in a cricketing team for sure.
Perfect. All right. So we've got the pitch report here for you. So Graham Smith says in the pitch report that there has been hardly any wear and tear on it from last night's game, which is interesting because the players said it was tacky to begin with, but flattened out in the second innings. So the question is, will we be playing more evenly tonight? Will there be more wear and tear by the time the chase starts? He says, I doubt it. I expect the captain winning the toss to chase. Steve, you mentioned that.
Yeah, 100%. There's absolutely no two ways about it, because the pitch will only get better in the second half. First half, as far as I know, there was a decent amount of cloud covering right through the day, so it was under the wrap. It was under the the covers, and that would mean more perspiration. That would mean more tacky for the team batting first. They will have their challenges, especially the first 6-7 overs, and then it's going to ease out, especially with the lights coming on and the temperature plus the dew factor, everything else. Yeah, everything shouts out, bowl first here. And but having said that, LSG, if there's any team who can defend, would be LSG. So, and I mentioned this before as well. So before the toss actually happens, I think the better placed team is Lucknow.
Okay, so interestingly, the toss has been delayed. And just when we say that the weather seems clear, because of the rain, the covers are on. So, ladies and gentlemen, here's an update. The toss has been delayed. It's cricket. Expect the unexpected. You cannot predict anything. But what you can predict is what's coming up next, which is our social tracker, powered by Sky247.net, coming your way. Let's see what our social has been saying. Of course, I'm sure the Bangalorean fans have a lot to say tonight. But having said that, we've got the Bangalore Twitter saying all the cards are on the table and everything to play for. It's chapter 2 again. The Super Giants. All right. Who will be the ace in the pack is my question. Niall?
Oh, lovely. I like that question. I'll go for Faf, for Bangalore. We've seen his stats. He's good in the knockout games, eliminator games. So the ace for Bangalore will be Faf.
Okay. What about you, Deep? Ace in the Bangalore pack?
Ace in the Bangalore pack. I think Virat. If the pitch is on the slower side, I would back Virat over anyone else because Faf obviously is superb. But then if it's a little tacky, then it becomes that much more challenging for players outside the subcontinent. So from that perspective, I'd say Virat, especially if Bangalore's batting first, especially.
Perfect. All right, let's take a look at the second tweet. I think we just missed out on it. I think it was the Crick Tracker. Here we go. BCCI President Saurav Ganguly backs Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma. And of course, there's a lot of talks that have been going on the forms of these spectacular players of the Indian cricket team and, of course, the Indian T20 league. But having said that, they've had a season to forget. Having said that, Virat is getting his fluidity back. And he may play just the way he's required to play for this particular innings. Having said that, Deep, what did you have to say about the kind of season that Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma have had so far?
Listen, when they're criticized or they've been kind of criticized for not scoring as many runs, which is only fair from the fans' perspective. Obviously, they've had an average season or below average season because obviously their benchmarks are very high. We're talking about Rohit and Virat here, right? So obviously, not lived up to those expectations, but it can happen. You can have an off season, so no big deal. I mean, the best players in the world have had that in the past, and they will have that in the future as well. So it's nothing to get worried about. Because the other important thing is, are they batting all right? Yes, they haven't scored runs, but Rohit, even though he was getting his 20s and 30s, he looked like Rohit Sharma getting his Rohit batting. So it's not that they aren't batting well. Virat as well, if you look at it, you can't blame a batsman if he gets out first ball. If he gets out after getting set, then you can say, oh, geez, you got your eye in and then you're getting out. First ball, you get out and you got to move on. You can't be too critical on batters getting out first ball unless it's a really terrible shot. That's a different issue. But the couple of times that he got out first ball, I mean, that can happen to anyone. So even though they didn't have a good season, I can completely understand where the fans are coming from, and they've got every reason to feel, feel let down by these two greats. But they're going to bounce back, and they already have. I mean, Virat, that 100. And let's not. The other important thing. Sorry about this. I'm taking a little longer.
Go for it.
You can't equate the tournament, okay, a franchise tournament, with international cricket. International cricket, yes, it's the same format, everything else, but international cricket, the team is different. Your role in that team would be different as compared to a franchise. So yes, even though they are very, I mean, obviously it's T20, blah blah blah, but then you've got to be careful in terms of equating performance from franchise and then just opposing that on international cricket. I don't think that, for me, that does not work. That much.
Right. Now, how do you look at it? Virat and Rohit's form in the Indian T20 league, which has been, of course, criticized, and the fans have raised a lot of questions and concerns. How about you?
Well, the two players, one's got a chance to turn it around. Virat's team is still in the tournament, and it's a team game. So actually, from his point of view, and Bangalore, they're sitting pretty. They're still in the comp. Rohit Sharma's on holiday. I see his Instagram. He's been busy on Instagram on his holiday, so he's walking up and down the beach. So he's obviously moved on. So I think there'll be, from Mumbai will have serious questions. His form over the course of a tournament was so unlike him. I know what Deep is saying. He was getting a bit of rhythm, a bit of groove back, but it's a numbers game. You live in a numbers game, and every team's got two analysts, and every team is number crunching, paying $1.5 million, $2 million. X will come last, come second last. Whereas Virat and Mike Hessen, they're still in the tournament. And Virat's got a chance to put it right. So sometimes you got to take a look at your own backyard, and Rohit Sharma needs to get back to the drawing board a little bit, in my opinion. But I do agree with Deep. Once this tournament's finished, you park it and you get back playing international cricket. So it wouldn't be surprising if someone like Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, tournament's done and dusted. Next assignment with India, they go out and boss it, and all of a sudden, these conversations, down the line, are forgotten about, and that's why they're great players. And these are great players. They're able to put misfortune behind them. They're able to put bad form behind them because they've been here before. And as Deep says, they'll probably be here again. They will find form slumps. But I suppose with one eye on the World Cup, everybody in India is hoping that they get their form back before they get to Australia, because India, in my opinion, have a really good chance of winning that tournament. But to win it, they're going to have to be right on the top of their game. And Virat and Rohit Sharma are going to have to play big tournaments if India are going to win it. And they can. And they, no doubt about it, I'm sure they'll fire again. But Rohit, he's just chilling on the beach. He's happy.
No, but as very rightly mentioned, that franchise cricket might not always be the indicator of merit. But having said that, in franchise sports, this is a trend. There is an era of domination by teams, which we've seen of Chennai and, of course, Mumbai. But then there has to be a new era of new gigantic teams coming in. Case in point, Gujarat and Lucknow. We've seen it in NBA. Golden State Warriors had their run. Yeah.
Sorry, Ritima, also, if you look at it, I mean, this tournament's been going on for what, 15? This is the 15th season, right? So there has to be some transition as well. So if you look at it, obviously there'll be a transition from the players. It's already happened in the second or third season when the Sachin Tendulkar gave way to a Virat Kohli and MS Dhoni. So that generation came in, and they've been dominating this tournament for 10, 12 years now. So in the next couple of years, you'll see new set of true superstars coming in. So you see the Rishabh Pants and the Shreyas Iyers coming in. So I believe it's all right. Next 1 or 2 years is going to be very, very interesting, because I think we are in that process of transition.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So there is an update here. There's a light drizzle at the moment at the Eden Gardens. So this is the time where we start putting in some permutations and combinations. We do some ifs and buts.
Bangalore can do without all that.
So let's do that. Which bowling and batting attack, Niall, do you think will relish the conditions more if it has to be shortened? If the match has to be shortened.
It's a good question, really. Well, I think Lucknow have, as Deep mentioned, they've got probably all bases covered with their bowling attack. They've got an impressive bowling unit, And as Deep rightly mentioned earlier, to win a tournament, your bowlers win these tournaments. As much as us batters think we're the be all and end all, and wicket keepers are batters, but actually it's bowlers that win you the tournament. Think of the great Australian team, Shane Warne, God rest him, the legend, and Glenn McGrath. Winning the World Cup after World Cup. Brett Lee, people like that, Gillespie, all these kind of guys. So you think Lucknow have that base covered. Bangalore maybe a little bit weak in the bowling. Bangalore batters, though, if it gets down to maybe a 10 over match, they can really go hammer and tong. Are they adaptable enough? Because if it's a shortened game, you cannot chew balls up. Whatever about a 20 over game, you can, get yourself in a little bit, but you can't have a strike rate of 100, 115, 120 in a 10 over fixture. So I think no team will want to reduce game, but Lucknow are probably better poised if it is shortened.
All right, Deep, let me tell you, it's getting windier, so that's the update. So, how about the drainage at Eden, though, Deep? How's that?
Yeah, it's brilliant now. Last 2-3 years, I guess maybe a little more than that. Earlier on, it was quite bad. I still remember, 5-6 years ago, maybe even more. There was a half an hour shower in the afternoon, and the game in the evening was washed out. But things have changed in the last few years. They've got those sand filling and stuff like that done a few years ago. So the drainage is much, much better. Now the whole ground is under the cover, not just the pitch. And yeah, so it'll take, listen, if the rain stops, it's going to take them 20 minutes. That's the time you use a super stopper, that the time taken to get the covers off. It should be 20-25 minutes max. As soon as the rain stops, 25 minutes and the game should be on. Because CAB from that perspective, last few years have done really well maintaining those issues in terms of drainage and even the pitch.
All right, I'm going to cut this short and ask you, given the conditions, the circumstances, is it going to be Bangalore facing Rajasthan in qualifier 2, or is it going to be Lucknow?
Niall, you go.
Well, as much as I like Andy Flower and Lucknow, as I said earlier, I just think there's something in the air for Bangalore. So I'm going to go with Bangalore.
Okay then, Bangalore. It is Deep.
I'd say Lucknow because I think even if they lose the toss, I believe they have that bowling attack to defend, which is going to be obviously challenging. So I'm going to go with Lucknow. Yeah, I'm going to go with Lucknow.
I think all your Twitter following just went down. All the Bangalore fans just unfollowed you, Deep. They just did that.
Fair enough. As long as Niall has those guys, it's fine.
Extra followers.
Yeah.
Bangalore fans, I love you. As compared to these two, I have zero Twitter following. I love you guys. I'm supporting you guys. It's going to be Bangalore all the way. This time, 2022 trophy is for the Bangaloreans. Okay, very quickly, we did a poll. And let's see the question as well as the result of the poll. So the poll was, can Bangalore avoid a hat-trick of eliminations in the Eliminator? Yes, 77%. No, 23%. You're one of those people, actually. 23%. You come in that 23% category.
Listen, they can. They can. But who's better positioned before the toss happens? Listen, if Bangalore wins the toss, obviously they're ahead. There's absolutely no two ways. But yeah, before the toss, I'd say Lucknow. Yeah.
All right. The stage has been set. Having said that, there is a bit of a twist in the set. There are now covers because of the wind and the rain. But here's hoping that everything will be fine and the match will be resumed without anything being shortened. Here's an update that we have. Glenn Maxwell tells Star Sports that he has been bedridden of late, but he is fine for this match. All right. So here's an update on Glenn Maxwell
as well, right? He had stitches, right? I think the stitches came off only yesterday.
Yeah.
Webbing, yes. I believe. So, yeah, even Harshal wasn't anyways.
Also Krunal. So he's also had a week to recover. So there are some injuries there. So Krunal and Harshal and Maxwell. So these are those injuries, and they are minor. So Harshal and Krunal will be playing. There are minor doubts around the fact that they might miss this game, but these are the injury updates. But all right, so thank you so much, gentlemen. Thanks a lot for being with me. Here's hoping that the best team wins and goes all the way to qualifier 2. Nerves, I sense it. But this is the stage. The question is who's going to land that knockout punch in the Eliminator? Will it be Lucknow or will it be Bangalore? Here's wishing the fans all the very best. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I'm going to see you after the match. Enjoy it. This is Not Just Cricket, powered by Sky247.net.